Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Groundhog's Garage. If this is your first time to my channel, thank you for coming by to visit. Hope you enjoy what you see. I am at the halfway point of repainting the front clip of my Grand Am and replacing, or actually installing, a fiberglass replacement for my nose piece. I have got the hood 99% stripped, ready for paint. I am working on the front right fender. It's the worst of the two because it has a little bit more rust right behind the front wheel, which I'll show you here in a second. But I just wanted to get you up to date to where I'm at. And if you're interested, you can go back and check some of the other videos in the playlist that I'll have listed in some place on the screen here before the video is over. And if you enjoy what you're seeing, go ahead and click subscribe because I got a lot to do with this car. Let me show you where I'm at right now. There's my hood. I've got it completed except for this area along the vent up here. And once I get the fenders done and back on the car, I can put this up on my stand here, and I can go ahead and take the rest of that paint off and put some etching primer on it and finish out the primer on that. On my table here, I've got the front right fender. I was stripping the back side of the fender, or I guess what would be the top of it from the other side. And I'm taking the paint off, and it's pretty clean. But again, you know, I've got that spider rust going on here. And it was a little difficult. There's a lot of grooves and bends and everything on this side, so it took some time to get that all cleaned up. So I'm going to flip it over here a second and we'll take a look at what that side looks like. And here's the outside of the fender, and you can see all the cracking in the paint. That's why I'm taking it down to metal, because it goes all the way through both layers of paint. It's really solid up front. There's no rust around the wheel well until you get over here, and there's a little bit going on here. And this piece here, I imagine I'm just going to have to cut it out and put a new piece, and it goes all the way down here. Somebody put a layer of Bondo over it, and you can probably see under there that they didn't do anything with the metal underneath. So I'll be taking this bracket off for the lower trim, see what kind of shape this is in and how much I have to replace, and we'll go from there. I've got the paint stripped off, and you can see the bottom half of the fender doesn't have quite as much spider rust that the top had, so that's going to clean up pretty nice. There's no rust on the front of the fender, so that's going to clean up really easy, as well as around the wheel well. Let me go a little slower. That's really clean too. Maybe a little surface rust there. This is a little sketchy here. I might back that up with a piece of metal. This piece here, there is some clean metal shining through there, but I'm going to scrape all that off and take another look at it. And the rest of the fender, looks like somebody did a little something there, and a little something here, maybe a little dent or something. Got a little something up here too. But again, this is the top of the wheel well, and as you get higher, you can see the checking gets worse. So not a big deal. We'll get it treated and get it taken care of. Clearly, there's a lot going on right here. This section here is rusty. It's rusted through up here. So I'm kind of going to whittle it away. No sense in taking out more metal than I have to, but I think it's going to be, it looks like they did the same thing with this one. You know, and again, it comes down to skill level or what kind of tools you got, and somebody was doing this at home. But Yeah, it's all swelled through here. I don't even know if I'm going to bother. I don't know if you can see the rust, but let's take this off of here. So it's pretty rusty underneath. So I'm just going to I'm probably going to just cut this along here. I'm going to move back here. I'm going to cut along here, up this way, probably a pretty good sized section here. So this is pretty much a mess. I guess I'll take the grinder to it, but I'll bet I'm cutting out this much. And luckily there's not a lot of body lines here or curve. It's just got a little bit of indentation there, a little bit of inside roll. But with the Fender well, still kind of solid. I should be able to match the bend and hopefully get it to a point where I have to put very little, if any, body putty in there. So let's get started. Hard to tell if I'm cutting into the brace or the fender, so I will be taking my time and looking at, you know, exactly what's going on here. Sectioning this out, and you can see just how bad it is in here. The brace underneath is, I don't want to call it shot, but it's not in great shape. But that's not the important piece here. Obviously the skin is what we're most worried about. So I'm going to continue to kind of whittle away here. I'll probably cut this back over to here. And I'm going to cut this section out here because I think, let's hit that with a hammer. Just kind of, yeah, it's got holes. That's got holes. That's kind of, yeah, that's kind of, look at all this stuff falling out of here. And we're taking some of the weight out of it. This should go a lot faster after this. So there's a hole there. Just kind of flimsy. I'm going to cut this because there's some obvious swelling right here. But I think this is about as far as I'll have to go right here. That's pretty bad. That feels pretty good. I'll grind this off of here just to be sure. The plot thickens. Check this out. Got some old school brazing right here, all the way up the side, and they overlap this here. So what you can see is the rust just built up behind the patch and has been pretty much bleeding out all the way around. So I'm not sure. It looks like they may have welded it in some way here, or maybe it's just brazed all the way around. But so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this whole section out, clean this up down here, decide whether I want to wrap a piece of steel all the way down to, because obviously we're getting back over here, but this is all good here. And I'm going to cut this lip off here, and the brace is up against the side here. So we're just going to reshape this whole thing, because that's, you can't leave that. And there's some rust there. Let's see, where's my hammer at? That's pretty solid. But we definitely want to cut all of this off of here. So might as well butt weld it all the way around the perimeter here. Get this cleaned up. Put a new piece of metal on here so I can clean it. This is swollen right here. We can clean that brace up right there by sandblasting it, and we should be good to go. No worries for a while. So we got a hole there. Bam, bam. Now we got a hole. So I'm just going to cut right up here and then come around. Now that I'm into this was hacked a little worse than I thought. They didn't cut out the fender. That's the original fender piece there. They just laid this piece of metal over it. And then, because look, so I'm cutting here, this is the fender, and you can see it actually right here. This is all one piece. Okay, so now that's some butchery there. But anyway, we're going to cut all that out, put some fresh metal in there, and make it much closer to OEM. Here is the fender peeled back. Here's the old fender, and you can see the hole that was in there. Here's what's left of the new fender. Here's what's left of the old part of the fender. Here's the patch. Here's the front behind it, it's all filled up, and that's why it was swelling. There's some there, and there's dirt down in there. I think you can see that. So we got almost, we just got about, I just about got this cut off, and this is coming along a little quicker than I thought, so we might sandblast this yet. This is coming along a little quicker than I thought, so I might have time to go get some sand today, some media blast, and clean this up today. Yeah, so even the patch was, they probably didn't paint behind it. What do you want to bet they didn't paint behind it, and that's why it got rusty? There was just no way to leave that metal on there now. Looking at this was absolutely the right thing to do. This is swollen here, and obviously you can see why, because the brace underneath is swelling with rust. So I'm going to cut this off, and then I can use this for a pattern to cut my other piece. And then once I have this off, I'll sandblast all of this, get that cleaned up, put a little Rust-Oleum on it, paint it, and it should last a good long time. And put some metal over it, butt weld it in, and I should be able to sleep at night knowing I did the best I could, or better than I could. Where the attachment is, there's still plenty of good metal there. So I don't, that's the piece that the brace holds the fender on, so I don't have to worry about it flying off. But yeah, there's a pinch weld right there I'll have to cut off, and then we'll get this all cleaned up. So here's we are. I knocked off some of the scale. No sense in, sand isn't exactly cheap, and I don't want to have to sandblast more than I have to, because that's a messy job. There's the old piece. Again, to get you a little closer view there, you can see where the old fender was. This is the old fender and where the hole was. Here's the patch, and again, I'll bet you any amount of money that they never painted behind it. So it's just bare metal. New York, how long do you think it took for that to rust? So we'll get that sandblasted and get this cleaned up. And I think at this point, once we get this patch welded on and get the patch welded on the other fender, we'll be cruising. You know, we've all seen butcher work, and maybe that's being harsh, but they could have done a better job. They did a lot of work for nothing, really, in my mind. You know, to butt weld something like, or to lap weld that, and to not cut out the bad metal. And you know, as soon as the water gets behind that, it starts swelling and starts rusting, and then it just starts making the new panel rust. And if they didn't paint the new panel from behind, that's even worse yet. So, you know, this isn't how you do this. And even my first attempt at body work, this wouldn't have been the way to do this. So, anyway, I'm going to run to Home Depot, get some sand. We'll sandblast that, but I'm going to stop the video here. So if you like seeing these kind of videos, subscribe down below. Hope to see you again. Smash that like button, and have a great day.